believe in yourself? Who else gon' believe in you? Who else gon' believe in you? Who else gon' believe in you? You believe in yourself, yeah. Who else gon' believe in you? Who else gon' believe in you? Who else gon' believe in you?
Thanks everybody for tuning in to the 17th episode of the Manny Hall Show. I'm excited about today's guest. Got my homie with me, Meltrice. She is a super duper professional. When I say entrepreneur, when I say businesswoman, you're going to see exactly why. But I'm not going to do a whole lot of talking today. I'm going to allow her to be at the forefront. She's being showcased today. 17th episode, y'all. Get ready. Tune in for all the other ones as well. Manny Hall Show. Hello, how are you today?
I am great, and I am excited to be on the 17th episode of the Manny Hall Show.
For
what
sure.
An honor. I just appreciate what you're doing for entrepreneurs around the globe.
Yes.
Showcasing entrepreneurs, and I'm just glad to be here, so thank you.
Oh, you're welcome. So please tell the people what you do for those that don't know who you are.
What I do professionally? No, I'm just playing. What I do, so my partner and I, we own an accounting and consulting firm, and what we do is we service small to mid-sized businesses, and we provide accounting, we provide bookkeeping, tax planning, and tax prep. Our true goal and our true mission is to help to change the trajectory of African American businesses by way of finance, right? So we want to change the financial landscape in our community, and we're doing it one business at a time, but by helping businesses create a financial structure that wasn't in place before we start working with them. And then more importantly, it's about helping them know their finances, but then what do I do with them? Once I know what my finances are, how do I begin to make business decisions with that information so that I can take that information and enhance my bottom line?
I love
so that is our mission. We're very mission driven at our firm, most accounting firms, and I shouldn't say this as this general statement, but most accounting firms are about the dollars and the data. We're about the dollars and we're about the data, but we're missioned to really make sure that our business owners are effective and that they're successful financially.
Absolutely. Okay, so what made you get started?
Well, I've been in the accounting profession since 2000, so I've been in the accounting profession for about 18 years, and I started my career at a company called Ernst & Young, which is one of the biggest accounting firms in the U.S., and then I went to a company called Forest City, and I was there for almost 13 years, and a lot of transition was happening at Forest City, and I thought that this would be the best time for me to go and spread my oats, spread my wild oats.
Yeah.
Just an opportunity for me to go and really help the small business owners and help people. I mean, in a big firm, it's really hard to help small businesses.
That makes sense.
Because you're like a big firm. And so while I made a lot of money working for bigger firms, it was best for me, for my soul, to
that makes
go
sense.
and start this.
So you always been a numbers girl?
Always been a numbers girl. I used to teach my math class in high school.
Okay.
So, and I tutored in college. So I love math. It's just, I eat, sleep, and drink it. People in my company, they know that I love it. My clients know that I love it. So that's why they trust me with their numbers. But yeah, I've always been a numbers girl.
That's awesome, because it's like, for me, honestly, I love history, I love English,
I hate those things.
And it's like, and I think like that's a disparity right there, because it's like, for so many people, they wonder why they struggle on certain things, and it's just maybe God didn't make you that way.
Exactly.
Like maybe you just weren't supposed to be good at that, and it's like, if we focus on our strengths in those areas that we're amazing at, that's when we really can provide the best benefits to people that we serve. Instead of you like trying to be an author and writer like Manny, like, no, I'm good with the numbers. I'm about to have this accounting business, and I'm going to destroy it. I'm going to help so many people that way.
Absolutely. You hit the nail on the head. Everybody is not good at everything.
Yeah.
And I think that's what makes the world as awesome as it is that you have people that are skilled in certain areas, and if you put them all together, then you have the best product and the best outcomes.
Right.
So, I mean, at our firm, we have decided to stick within our niche.
Yeah.
Right? What are we good at? Let's go out and do what we're good at, and let's be the best at it. So we want to stick within our niche, but you said it right, Manny. Everybody's not good at everything. And even backdated to high school, I knew that I was good at math. Now, I worked really hard in the English and the history, and I did well, but it was a asserted effort. So even when we're talking to our kids and we're thinking everybody should operate in this small box, right? Where everybody is going to make all A's and B's. That may not be the case. Your kid just may be the math kid, or your kid may be the history kid and do well at that. So playing to your strengths, right? Playing to your strengths is what helps you to be, successful and sets you apart from your competition.
I love it. Now speak to the entrepreneurs, because you guys have, like you said, created your own unique niche. A lot of other people struggle in that because they want to do so many other things that they're seeing other people do.
That's a great point. One of the things that I did when I was at Forest City is I developed our supplier diversity program. And basically what that was I developed programs and procedures so that our company, Forest City at the time, could start to invest their dollars, meaning spending with vendors that are diverse. So small businesses, women-owned businesses, veteran-owned businesses, ethnic minority businesses. And one of the challenges that I found was that when you're a small business and you're trying to thrive, you're willing to do anything to do it.
Yeah.
So you're willing to do anything to bring in $1, but that's not what sets you apart. Everybody cannot be all things, right? And so companies would accept any business that came their way, even if it was outside of their niche, even if it was outside of their industry, they would accept it because they needed $1.
Yeah.
But the most successful companies would turn down things that did not fall within their niche or did not fall within their industry, or things that they weren't good at.
Yeah.
Right? And so as a small business, as an entrepreneur, you may have the tendency to want to accept any business that you get. So if your client says, well, I don't want what you're selling or the service that you're providing, but this is what I need, some entrepreneurs will be like, well, we can provide you that too. That's not a good approach. Stick with what you're good at, stay within your niche, and be very good at it, and that's when you're gonna just get clients coming your way.
I love that. Now, but honestly, it's almost like a scary place for them as entrepreneurs, because to your point, it does definitely seem like that is the journey to go down for the long run. But it's like you have these entrepreneurs that they're not even making $1,000 a month. They're barely making, let's say, $50 a month. And they try to lowball themselves and devalue their own product or service just to get that dollar. Like, is it hard to transition to really standing up for yourself in the business world?
Well, I think the first thing, Manny, is all about planning and prep, right?
Okay.
You don't want to enter into the world of entrepreneurship without having a nice nest egg somewhere, whereby you don't have to accept everything that comes your way because you're struggling to survive financially, right? So you have to make the transition at the right time, where you know that sometimes you may get paid and sometimes you may not get paid, but you have that nest egg that you can fall back on so that you can continue to develop your niche and continue to develop your strength and your place in the market.
Yeah.
You're right. I've seen people price their product or price their service way below the market, and that's not fair to you. Right? You're cheapening your market, you're cheapening your industry, it's not fair to your competitors, and then you're not even recovering your cost.
Right.
So you're just cheating everybody around. You need to take time, price your product or your service effectively based on the industry, based on the market, based on your competitors. Right? So, and then again, have that nest egg so you don't have to accept anything that comes your way. But entrepreneurship is not for everybody.
Yeah, that's real.
Right?
Absolutely.
And so sometimes you might have to just keep your job until you, so I say stay where you're getting paid until you can walk away completely.
Okay.
You don't just walk away right away.
Okay. So they really need to plan and strategize what they're going to do.
Right.
Because I think that the thought is, I got this great business idea. I'm just going to go ahead and get started without even thinking about anything. Because like you said, to your point about entrepreneurship, there are some people that's great at being entrepreneurs in the sense of coming up with ideas and, you got this idea, now you're going to try to plan it out. But the problem is they're not businesswomen, they're not businessmen.
Right.
So that's a whole nother field to play in.
It is. And the reality of it is that if you have a skill or a craft that you're really good at and you're ready to make that transition into entrepreneurship, the best thing for you to do is build a team around you.
Gotcha.
Right?
Gotcha.
So if you know you're not good with finances and you're not an accountant, make sure you get you an accountant.
Right.
If you definitely need to have your lawyer in place to make sure that you're protected as an individual.
Right.
Your assets are protected, but more importantly, you're establishing the right business structure, the right entity, like everything is in place, right? You need your insurance person. My partner called it the dream team, right? So as you need your accountant, you need your banker, you need your insurance rep, you need your attorney. You want to make sure that you build a team around you whereby the skill set that you don't have, somebody on your team has that. And a lot of people go into business saying, well, I can't afford that. I'm a brand new business. And based on what we've seen, right? So this is empirical evidence based on our clients. You can't afford not to have it.
Wow.
Because not having it puts you in a situation that could cost you.
Gotcha.
So you want to have those things in place. So we can't be all things for our business. We can't be good at the marketing. We can't be good at the,
Right.
So you have to have the team around you to do that.
Yeah, so and I'm glad you mentioned that because there are a lot of risks involved with not having this team in place. And honestly, it's like for certain parts of your team, you don't need a whole lot of money to establish it. But even in the interim, identify some people that can help you along the way.
Absolutely. You're right. You don't need a whole bunch of money, and I think that's a myth.
Yeah.
People think that you need a whole bunch of money. You
Right.
don't, because there are so many people like Cioli. Cioli, we work with startups,
Right.
So we know that startup, one, is not going to have a lot of activity. Two, not going to have a lot of finances. So we work within those parameters when we're developing costs, when we're developing that partnership, right? So you just find somebody that's good at the thing that you need, and you find the company that's willing to work with a startup company,
Right.
and they're going to price it where it's affordable.
Absolutely.
And knowing that they're going to grow when you grow, so they're going to be vested in your company and want you to grow, so they're going to do all they can do to help you grow.
I love that. I love that.
Yeah.
Now, along your own personal journey, apart from your partner, tell me about your journey.
My journey has been it's definitely been a roller coaster ride. Well,
Okay.
I'm from the inner cities of Cleveland.
Okay.
Right, so I was born and raised on Huff, in the projects, which, it sounds awful, but we were family.
Yeah.
Everybody looked out for everybody. Everybody ate. If, one family had food, everybody ate. So we were really family. So we did have some tough times, but it was enjoyable. I went to Kent State University for college.
Okay.
My first year of college, I got pregnant. So I dropped out after my first year of college, and just like everybody in the neighborhood that I grew up in, people just thought, oh, you're gonna ruin your life just like everybody else.
Mm-hmm.
You're not gonna go back to school. You were doing so well. And so everybody had written me off. When my daughter turned 4, without letting anybody know, because I didn't want any dream killers, I had already started to do all the prep. I re-enrolled into school. I got my apartment set up and everything. So the day I was supposed to move out, I started calling folks like, y'all gonna help me move or what? And they're
Wow.
like, move where? I'm like, I'm going back to school. So I went back to Kent when my daughter was 4, and I graduated in 3 years with honors.
Wow.
Very, very tough. But I was very focused at that time, because I remember the day when I decided to go back to school, I'm like, I never dreamed that I would be, I was living with my daughter's father. He was selling drugs. Just a very tough time where we had gotten robbed. And I can't believe I'm sharing this, but I fell asleep one night and was like, this was never a part of my little girl's dream to get out of the ghetto and come back and help some people that I grew up with and help my mother and what am I doing here? So I just started all the steps prepared to that I needed to prepare to get back in school. So got back in school, was very focused, but there was still a part of me that was still back at home and still, engaged and interacting with my daughter's father at the time. And then I ended up pregnant again with my son. So now I have a daughter, I'm in my senior year of college, and I'm pregnant again. So I'm like, what am I gonna do? But I felt like that baby deserved a chance at life too, where many people were like, have an abortion. I'm like, I just can't do that. I felt like, this baby had to have a chance at life. So I kept him and I told my professors, look, I'm pregnant. And now I'm in like the last semester of my senior year. I'm like, I'm pregnant, but I'm gonna have the baby, and pending any complications, I'll be back in 2 weeks. So I had that baby, and I was back in 2 weeks, and I still graduated that semester with all A's.
I love it.
It's possible.
Yeah.
And it all started with me realizing that I had a dream, back when I was a little girl, and not giving up on that dream. So, very challenging along the way as a single mom, raising 2 kids. But, just happy to report that now my daughter's 24.
Awesome.
She's doing very well. She has a daughter of her own. And my son is 17. He'll be 18, as a matter of fact, next month.
Awesome.
And he has already enrolled early in the Navy.
Awesome.
So he wants to go and serve his country. I think the best part about my journey is that I have been giving back the entire time. I realize how challenging it is to, be raised in the inner city, and, many of my friends are either in jail or dead, or some of my friends are still, back in the community where I was raised. When I go see my mom, I still see them hanging out on the street and stuck. But, I know the challenge of that journey, and so it's really important for me to, lift as I climb. So I do, speaking engagements. I sit on the board of a couple of non-for-profit organizations that give back to the community, because it's really important for me to now take everything that I've experienced and pack it up in a bag that can help somebody else get past, the challenges of what that upbringing can be.
Absolutely. And I think that your story is just like blowing me away, and I'm almost sitting here like I'm in the audience just listening, because it's so profound. The different things that you've gone through, they might have been extremely challenging, a lot of difficult circumstances, but you never let any of that stop you. And it's like, although you might be able to provide like this cute story of how you triumphed, you didn't. You told this real, honest, transparent truth. That's your truth, that a lot of other people sometimes can't get in touch with their own truth, but you did with yours. And I think that that's the part that's really helping entrepreneurs, because it doesn't matter how you came up. You did not allow any of those things to knock you down. Like, you are a true testament of what it means to have courage.
I think people are helped through our testimonies.
Yeah.
Like, if we are not authentic, if you don't bring your authentic self to the table, then you don't help people, right? Because that's who God made you. So he allowed all of the tests and trials in my life. And so for me not to use them, and not to share those where they can be used to help somebody else, would be unfair.
Right.
And so, I think back to, wow, how did I accomplish some of the things that I accomplished? And I can't attribute it to anything other than my faith and other than God. I can't attribute it to anything else. I mean, at one point, I was in school. I was working 3 jobs, very active in my daughter's school, and still very successful in school. And people ask me, like, how did you do that? I'm like, I don't know. I didn't think about it. I knew what needed to get done.
Right.
I, strong in my faith, and I just went for it. I didn't allow fear, which would oftentimes stop me in my tracks, but it would paralyze me, right?
Right.
So I would be like, I'm scared. But, the thing is, even in the midst of fear, it might stop you for a minute, but don't let it paralyze you. You just keep going.
Yeah.
And you realize when you look back, God, I got over that. I triumphed over that. So with God, all things are possible. And so we have to share our stories. We have to be authentic. We have to be transparent and vulnerable.
Yep.
I think when we're that way, we help everybody.
Absolutely. So what motivates you?
My faith, for one, and then my family. I have an impeccable family. I think one of the things, and I just thought about this question the other day. I don't know why, but my mother was a single mother.
Okay.
And so I think I'm about to cry. I think I always wanted her to know she was a good mother. And she's had some challenges. She's always been so selfless. She's always been the one who, a family member of ours who got addicted to drugs, she helped raise her daughter. My aunt died when we were younger.
Okay.
She helped raise her daughter. So she's always been this selfless, single mother working as a waitress.
Mm.
And just made it happen for us. We didn't have everything we wanted, but we didn't have an unmet need.
Yeah.
And I always just wanted her to know that she did a good job.
Gotcha.
Even now, I just want to keep going because I want her to know, Mom, you did a good job through all of your trials.
Yeah.
You've triumphed, and you did a good job as a mother. And so that's one of the things that motivate me. But the second is my family. I have a beautiful husband who's super duper supportive. I'm sorry, Manny.
No, you're fine. You're fine.
And then I want to be a good role model to my own children. And I have stepchildren who I love dearly, and grandchildren. So my daughter, I mentioned earlier that my daughter has a 2-year-old, but my husband has 3 kids and 4 grandchildren. So all together we have 5 kids and 5 grandchildren. So we're really the Brady Bunch.
Right.
So you can imagine what holidays are like at our home. But, wanting to be a good role model for them.
Yeah.
And wanting to, when this is all said and done and this life is over, hear those words, good job, thy faithful servant. Well done, thy faithful servant.
Yeah.
Those are the things that motivate me.
I love it. Now let's go back a little bit for this part of the story with your mom. And you must have seen her fight when you were a little girl. Like, she just went out there and made it happen.
Yeah.
And you knew sometimes it was hard for her, but you're like, man, this woman.
Impeccable.
Yeah.
And on a waitress salary.
Wow.
I still don't know how she did it.
Yeah.
I still don't know how she did it. And, as soon as I was able to work, I worked so that I can help contribute to the family. I just always want to give her what she didn't have. So
I love it.
When she turned 60, she was never married. She never had a big party. She started having kids really young. She was 20 when she had my brother. So when she was 60, I gave her the biggest party. It was like her wedding / sweet 16 /
Yeah.
the biggest party, and all of her friends and our family was there, and the smile on her face was, priceless. But
Love it.
that is one of my primary motivations, and I just appreciate all the sacrifice that she made and she still makes. I mean, even now I'm a grown woman with a whole family of my own. If it's snowing too bad outside, she'll call me. Now make sure you're paying attention to the roads, and they said it was slippery out there, and please call me when you get home. And so she is proud of me in the best way that she can.
Yeah.
And I just want her to be I want her to have all that she needs.
I love it. Do you think that that's where some of your resiliency comes from?
Oh, absolutely. I have a bunch of independent, strong women in my family.
Love it.
and they've modeled the behavior
Okay.
that I'm trying to repeat. If I can be half the woman that they are, I would feel successful in this lifetime. But yeah, my mother has overcome so much. Of course, I'm not gonna bore you with that story, and I certainly don't want to cry anymore. But
No, you're fine.
she's overcome so much in her life, and just watching her just still, she's able to smile, and I forgot who I was just telling this to. I don't care when you call, who calls, you're always going to get this bubbly, high spirit, happy person on the phone, despite what she's going through. So definitely, that's where I get my resilience from.
I love that. So you talked about your husband and kids.
Mm-hmm.
So it must be awesome being a mom and wife and businesswoman, entrepreneur. Got a lot of different hats. Is it hard sometimes to balance all of those?
Oh, absolutely. I tell my husband all the time, like, I'm the most transparent and vulnerable with him.
Yeah.
I'm like, husband, I'm not balancing well.
Right.
Because that's the reality of it. Sometimes you're going to do really well in your career and not drop any balls in that area.
Right.
Sometimes you're going to do really well as a mom and not drop any balls in that area.
Right.
But there are going to be times where you're dropping balls in your career.
Yeah.
You're dropping balls as a mom.
Right.
I missed several of my son's bowling matches recently.
Okay.
And I beat myself up over it. I'm like, gosh, you cannot miss one other bowling match.
Wow.
This is your primary responsibility. But I think the important thing of it is, don't beat yourself up.
Right.
Give yourself permission to not be perfect.
Right.
And so my mentor told me a long time ago, and I have to recall this and make myself, and actually repeat it to myself often, strive for excellence, not perfection. And so if we strive for excellence and not perfection, then we're not beating ourselves up. And we're not perfect.
Yes.
So we are not going to be perfect ever, but we just got to give it our best shot, and then give ourselves permission to mess up sometime, and then forgive yourself.
Yeah.
Truly, truly forgive yourself. Get back up and keep it moving.
And it must be hard as a woman, because I believe that men struggle with perfectionism as well, but for women much more, because I mean, even like social media, for instance, like you'll see, a girlfriend might have a great picture on there,
Right.
and then you finally talk to her like, oh, your picture is cute. Girl, that took me 70 times. So I took 70 separate shots to get that one.
Yes, that is so true. I don't know where that pressure comes from.
Yeah.
To present yourself as perfect. And women can be catty.
Yeah.
And so you don't want people, looking at your photo, blowing it up,
Yeah.
looking to see if that part of your hair is not so perfect, and really just criticizing you and critiquing you.
Right.
And it starts off at a very young age where, we just nitpick each other instead of supporting each other.
Yeah.
And so we just have to learn how to support each other, uplift each other. But yeah, it's a lot of pressure as a woman to be a perfect wife, to be a perfect mother, to be a perfect employee.
Yeah.
Sister, brother, aunt, uncle. It's a lot of pressure on us. But again, we just have to be okay with not being perfect.
Absolutely.
And forgive ourselves when we make mistakes.
Yeah, because it's like even here in the city of Cleveland, where we are, there are so many great people that if we all just stick together and work together, and it's like, for your firm especially, you guys help small businesses. Well, there's a plethora of small businesses that need help, but I think sometimes pride won't allow them to reach out and say, I need to help.
Yeah.
Or like, let's just talk about finances for a minute. It's like they look at the cost and say, well, I don't know if I have that. But in actuality, you'll spend money for what you really, really want.
Absolutely.
What's going to help you is a business like this to help you guys expand and grow what you're really after. But it's like in the short term, it's a lot easier to buy those J's, to buy a new bag, to buy this new blouse that you saw somebody else have on, and it's just like, let's focus on the things that are truly important.
Right.
Now, if your business is not important, that's fine.
Right.
Stop posting on Facebook and Instagram about how important it is to you.
Right, exactly. You're so right about that. I mean, we talk about that all the time in our team meetings. Like, first of all, we don't want to work with someone who's not willing to put in the work.
Right.
Because we don't want to waste your time. We don't want to waste our time, right? But one of the things that I realize in this business, especially when you're talking about finances, it's almost like getting naked in front of someone.
Yeah.
Right? That person see every flaw, every minor imperfection.
Right.
And not only do they see it, but now they're going to tell you that you need to fix it.
Right.
So it's very difficult for people to be willing to say, unveil my finances, so that you can see all of the good habits and the bad habits. And people, change is hard.
Yes, it is.
Let's get it. I've been trying to lose weight for God knows how long. I tell people all the time, I'm like, okay, I've done everything else I wanted to accomplish.
Right.
Not everything, but all the things that I said. Every year I do a vision board. I accomplish everything except way to change those bad habits in order for you to enhance your bottom line and have a more successful financial business. And so that's hard for people to accept. Right?
So, okay, go ahead.
So I mean, I get it. I get that people are a little resistant to come into a professional to help them uncover that, but I think if you really start to nail down what am I spending my money on, it's almost like weight. Like with Weight Watchers, the first thing they tell you to do is write it down, right?
Yeah.
So as a business owner, if you now, every time we meet with you, we're telling you what you're spending your dollars on, now you see it.
Right.
So that starts the process of change.
Right.
Do you really want to spend money on that Fendi bag, or do you really want to spend that much money eating out? Or do you really want to reinvest that money into your business so that your business can grow?
And see, and I know that you guys don't have a fitness company or a weight loss company, but you're making an excellent point about food, period.
Right.
I think that over the course of weeks, months, people spend an exorbitant amount of money on food.
Yes.
And it's almost like a sport. Like, I'm going out to eat. Like, I'm about to go play basketball.
Right.
Like, let's go eat again. Like, we just ate 5 minutes ago.
Right.
No, that's okay. Let's go get more food.
Exactly.
Like, and I'll see my coworkers at work and like, okay, well, we're going to run around the corner to get some food for breakfast. Fine. For lunch. No, we need a snack now. And it's like, I looked one week when I was trying to use that same pattern. It was like $50 in 1 week.
Absolutely. And then you'll hear people say they don't have enough money to save, and then, people's financial situation is in bad shape.
Yeah.
And people aren't investing. There's a significant portion of our society that when they retire, they can't live the same lifestyle after retirement that they lived before retirement because they didn't plan properly. Right? So they thought about the immediate need or the immediate satisfaction as opposed to planning for their future. So, you have to look at your finances and you have to have goals around them. Because if you don't have goals, then it doesn't make a difference.
Yeah.
But when you have goals and you realize that you're spending money in areas that don't fall or align with your goals or don't fall within your budget, then you start to make those changes.
Absolutely. So, and it really takes a lot of hard work. Because as you mentioned about weight loss, it's a funny story. Like my wife and I, we got married and she told me when we were dating, hey, I really want you to lose some of your belly. So I said, I got you, no problem. I'm going to lose my belly. Like, I love you. You're beautiful. I got you. So as time went on, I was like, okay, I'm so disciplined. I can do this. Like, I see it. I know other people are doing it. This is easy. I can do this. As time went on, like, I began to lose a little bit of weight. And my pants started to fit a little different. I said, I've lost weight. I'm good.
Right.
So I went to her and said, look, I lost weight. My pants are fitting better. She said, your belly is still there. That's what I was talking about, your belly. You still haven't gotten rid of your belly. So time went on, I continue to try and try and try. Yes. And to this day, that poor belly is still there.
Yes. And it's all about consistency.
Yeah.
The formula is simple. So when I teach about financial literacy, the formula is simple, right? So when you think about weight loss, it's what? Take in less than what you burn and work out. Formula, simple. Right?
Absolutely.
Same thing with finances. Spend less than what you bring in. Save. Right? And then you also want to give back. So the formula is simple, but it's all about applying the formula consistently.
Right.
And that's the part where many people fail.
Yeah.
They don't apply the formula consistently. They get like you and they're like, or me, oh, my pants are fitting better.
Yeah.
So now I'm going to revert back to those old habits, right?
Yeah.
But you can't revert back to the old habits, because guess what happens? Then that belly comes back.
Absolutely.
Or that fat comes back in
Absolutely.
my case, right?
Absolutely.
And so you just want to make sure that you apply that simple elementary formula consistently. And one good thing is have an accountability person.
Yep.
Someone that's really going to hold you accountable, and then be the type of person that can be held accountable.
That's it.
So I've had people come to me and saying, these are my goals, hold me accountable. And then when I hold them accountable, they're like, yeah, all right, I get it. You've held me accountable. Your job is over. We're done. I'm done with that.
Right.
But, if you really want something, like you said earlier, if you really want something, and apparently I don't want weight loss as much as I think I do, but if you really want something, you'll make the changes necessary to get it.
That's it. So I want you to spend a little bit of time explaining to those that are listening how your company can help a small business from a practical standpoint.
I think the most important thing, as I mentioned earlier, is giving you financial structure.
Okay.
A lot of business owners are good at their skill, good at their craft, good at the service that they provide. But what I find, and what we found, is that they're not good with the financial part of their business. So they come to us, they've been operating, and they're figuring out, why am I working so hard every day, all day, but I'm not profitable? And so what we do is we begin to start to look at your numbers, find out what you're spending, look for opportunities to cut costs. We work with you like a financial partner, so that when you're ready to scale up, right, then you have the finances in place where you can sit down with the lending institution or sit down with the credit union and say, here's my balance sheet, meaning here's the value of my business, here's my profitability over time. And now with this package of information, now you can invest in my company so that I can use that money to reinvest so that I can scale up. So a lot of times what's happening is that small businesses don't have a seat at the table because they can't demonstrate that they're financially stable, nor can they demonstrate that they're profitable.
Right.
So we help businesses put that financial structure in place so that they can demonstrate that. Another thing is, tax planning and prep. It's too late to prep at the end of the year or the beginning of the next year when you're preparing your taxes. What our company does is we work with business owners and individuals to say, okay, if you do A, B, C, and D, then you're going to reduce your tax liability, but more importantly, you're going to increase your after-tax wealth. Many people come to us and say, we don't want to pay taxes, and we're like, yeah, well, you don't want to make money, because people that make money pay taxes. But what we can do is help you to increase your after-tax wealth by giving you those planning strategies that will help to do that. And then we can help you to reduce your tax liability by keeping an eye on the things that we're spending, right? And so a lot of times what happens is that people won't look at their finances all year, and then they give everything, a whole bunch of receipts to their accountant.
Yeah.
They don't remember what they spent. They don't remember what business purpose it was. They don't remember anything. And so there's no way you can do a great job after fact.
Right.
So now you're reacting as opposed to being proactive. So that's one of the things that we really do and have really been able to do to enhance people's business.
I love that. And I'm glad you said as far as like a decision that a business is making, because in my profession, so I have my bachelor's and master's of organizational development.
Okay.
So as a career, I help businesses with their development. And at my job, as we partner with a lot of other organizations, sometimes it's challenging if they don't really realize where they are instead of their dreams or where they want to be.
Exactly.
So it's just like where you are right now is you have a small business and you're trying to grow and you have a certain amount of clients. Don't act as if you have thousands of clients if you only have 100, because living in that fantasy is only going to allow you to be exposed later. And when people finally find out who you are, then it's going to be very disastrous for your business, because then now since the light is on, I realize that you're not as profitable as you said you are. You don't have as many sales as you said you are. Your
Right.
profitability is down.
Right.
It's not up. And so for my business on the side, I have what's called Manny Hall and Associates.
Okay.
And that also helps organizations, small businesses, primarily entrepreneurs, really see the value of a lot of stuff that you and I have been talking about here today, but as well as like marketing and social media and your time management and where you put in your resources. Because
Right.
a lot of times, like you look at, you want to be more profitable, you want to do this, you want to do that, but the decisions that you as an entrepreneur, a business owner are making on a daily basis is hurting your business so much,
Right.
much more than you not bringing in enough clients. So, and I allow them to really focus on taking a step back and say, okay, you have 5 clients. Work that relationship with those 5 clients. Make them feel that they're special, that they're on top of the world. And I guarantee that they will eventually tell other people about you.
Yes.
Even if you don't market to anybody else, just really cultivating those few relationships that you have is major.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, we talk about this all the time. Sometimes you have to slow down and speed up.
Yes.
And really just look at that. You know, a lot of times you're dumping money in a black hole because you're making decisions that are not data-driven decisions.
Yes.
So a lot of times as entrepreneur, we make heart decisions on our business because
Yep.
we're really passionate about
Yeah,
it.
that's right.
And it's a heart decision, but it's not a data decision. And big successful companies make data decisions. That's one thing. And then you said something else about, and I just lost my train of thought because you made a great point that I wanted to reiterate, but I lost it. So we talked about data-driven decisions. Gosh, I lost it, Manny.
It's okay.
I'm sorry.
It's okay.
But yeah, we have to, just. I had such a great point. Okay, make sure you edit this out.
Okay.
But I had a great point. What did you say, Manny?
We were talking about establishing relationships and cultivating those few relationships that you have.
Okay, I got it.
Okay.
And so my other point is under promising and over delivering. Oftentimes we make all of these big promises and then we can't deliver an excellent product.
Right.
But like you just said, Manny, if you have 5 customers, under promise to them and then over deliver.
Right.
Bend over backwards for them, and those customers or clients are definitely going to refer you to someone else. And so I still think the best marketing strategy is word of mouth.
Yeah.
If you do really good, you might get somebody to tell 3 people. If you do really bad, somebody's going to tell 100 people.
Right. Yeah.
So the key is do really good.
Yeah, absolutely.
So that word can continue to spread.
I love that. Do you have any other final words?
Final words is don't be paralyzed by fear.
Yeah.
Everything that you need to achieve what you want to achieve, you already have it in you. You don't need permission. Just stay consistent, develop your goals, and stick to them until you achieve them.
I love
and
it.
Anything's possible.
I love that. Now, how can I get in contact with you and your organization?
So CLE Consulting Firm, so they can get in contact with me by going to cleconsultingfirm.com. They can also call 216-800-9021 or email me at Meltrice Sharp at cleconsultingfirm.com.
Awesome. Thank you so much for being on the show. I think that,
it was a pleasure.
yeah, absolutely. And this is going to help so many people with all the information that you shared and your story. I love it, and I love you. Thanks so much.
I love you too, Manny.
All right. Talk to you guys soon. The Manny Hall Show.